Lord, it's no wonder if lightning and thunder was made from the plunder of whiskey, me boy.
It's the Pesto Pod, the Pesto Pod, the Pesto Pod.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Pesto Pod. If you are tuning in via video, you'll see that I'm not in my usual stewed. I'm in a foreign environment indeed, and that is because I am visiting my sister and her husband, my brother-in-law, in DC. I'm staying with them in their apartment, so this is where I am. I'm in their room. I'm on their marital bed, actually. And I don't know if you can see, he might be slightly out of frame, but this is Carson. This is their dog, and he's my nephew and the love of my life. Oh, hello. He's a little camera shy. He's just a little camera shy, but he's an Irish puppy. He's an Irish puppy. He's cute as can be. He's an Irish puppy. He lives in DC. And he's my baby, and I love him with my whole heart. But happy St. Patrick's Day. Top of the morning to ya, corned beef and cabbage and a bottle of whiskey. I love St. Patrick's Day. I've really enjoyed our St. Patrick's Day weekend in Virginia so far. We went to, there's like an Irish fest on the wharf in DC, and we went, and it was great. I was kind of expecting it to be like gross, like college kid, trashy, dirty, but it wasn't at all. It was really, really cute. Very pretty area. There was Irish music, and we had a pint of Guinness or two, and Irish dancing. Everyone was very festively dressed. I loved it. I was very pro Irish fest. And then last night, my brother-in-law made corned beef and cabbage, and he like made it soups tradish. He like slow cooked it, and it was so good. And mashed potatoes and just a salty, briny deliciousness. And yeah, I had a great St. Paddy's Day weekend, and today is St. Paddy's Day. While I'm filming this, as you can see in my little Guinness sweater that I got at St. James Gate. I love the Irish. I am Irish. I don't know the exact percentage of Irish I am, but my last name Leahy is very Irish. It comes from some sort of Gaelic word meaning hero or warrior. How fun is that? Because that's what people see when they look at me. My pasty ass. They say that right there, that's a hero. Not all heroes wear capes. And also, I did tease this on TikTok a little bit, but little known fact about me, I used to be an award-winning Irish dancer. You heard me. I Irish danced from, I don't know, I want to say like ages 7 to 11 maybe. It was like a solid chunk of time in my elementary school career where I was just river dancing, stamp toe-toeing all over this joint. Do you have a problem, sir? Did you see the way he just sighed at me? God. It was, I looking back, I wish I like kept doing it, but it was so hard and my feet used to hurt so bad. And I would cry every time I would come home from Irish dance. Because the shoes, they're called gillies. They're supposed to be so tight. They recommend that you buy gillies that are like at least a shoe size smaller than your actual shoe size, because they're supposed to like cut the circulation off your fucking dogs. And then you gotta lace them all up, and you gotta wear these fuzzy little socks. It's a whole thing. And that's before you even qualify to get to the hard shoe, tappity tappin'. This is the soft shoe. And I did used to go to, they're called feshes. That's the Irish dance competitions. They had them like all around the land. Don't lick your pee-pee on camera, you sicko. I went to many feshes in my competition days, and I won some awards. I won a first place medal at the jig, I believe. So put that in your pipe and smoke it. And you know, I think when you think of Irish dance, you think of like the really fun dresses. They're like very colorful and sparkly. But the kick in the pants for that was you had to like earn your way to a fun dress. I never made it past like, excuse you? He just bit me. Roll back the tapes. He just bit me. Don't do that. I love you. I love you so much. I never made it that far. So my dress was black and white, and it was like, you know, it had like a funky pattern and it was pretty, but I wanted like sparkles and bedazzles, and I wanted to turn heads at the function, and that is simply never what I accomplished. And it was like, even that black and white dress was a step up from the beginners, because the beginners were in like these fugly little skirts and blouses, and at least I had a dress. And then you also had to be really, really good to get a wig. You know, those like big giant curly wigs and crowns that you see them wearing? I never made it to that level. I had something called a bun cover, which was just like a little tiny curly hairpiece that you would put over a bun, so that literally like my hair is slicked back into a tiny little poof of curls. I never made it to like big giant mop level wig. But I mean, imagine giving an 8-year-old like a hairpiece. She's gonna fucking love it. So I would like beg my mom to put it in, even if I wasn't going to anything Irish dance related. I wanted to wear it to like my friends' birthday parties and stuff. Can you stop fucking biting me? Jesus Christ. He is also wearing, can you see his little St. Paddy's Day bandana? Yeah, that's what I fucking thought. And then I also remember from my Irish dance days, if I look back, every year on St. Patrick's Day, they would have a local Irish dance school come to my little tiny private Catholic elementary school and like perform for us, and it was never my school. And I was so annoyed. Stop biting me. I was so annoyed because it was like these dancers that were like my age and doing the same steps that I was doing, but I was like, I do this too, guys. Just because I'm not up on the stage, like, don't you dare think that I am not just as good, if not better, than these fuckers. And it was so disrespectful, because no one believed that I was also a really good Irish dancer. Ridiculous. And then the Irish dance school that I belonged to as a child, it was owned by this couple, and I remember being like, there being rumors that the wife was pregnant, and I was like, oh, she's like, my Irish dance teacher's pregnant, and it was like a whole scandal. And then she wasn't. There was no baby, at least. And then they got divorced, and the school disintegrated. So, let that be a lesson to you, I suppose. Do I look insane from this angle? It's too late. It's too late for this. I'm not in my normal space. I'm all out of whack. I just gotta go with it. Yeah, so I Irish danced. And I also have been to Ireland. I freaking loved it. I want to live there. I'm really close to moving, because this country is a hellscape. And I feel like Ireland, I don't want to say they have it figured out, but they got some shit in order, you know? I went to Ireland for a weekend. That was it. I was studying abroad in London, and my friends and I decided to do a weekend in Ireland, and we were going to hit Dublin and Galway, which is a real bummer, because I would love to go down south to, like the Dingle. You know, the Dingle Peninsula? Dingleberry. I wanted to go there, but it's very hard to get there if you don't have a car, and I can barely drive in this country, let alone on the other side of the road. So, oh no, they don't in Ireland, do they? Well, they still they drive bonkers. They drive bonkers. And the speed limits are all in kilometers. So what the hell am I doing? And we flew into Dublin. We flew via Aer Lingus. Hilarious name for an airline. Flew into Dublin, and we did all the classic like touristy Dublin stuff. We did Temple Bar, which was great. I believe I entered some sort of drinking game with a group of Dutch men, and I lost and had to chug a beer, but they were cheering for me, and I felt really cool. So that was fun. And we also like walked around Trinity College, so that was cool. And then of course we went to St. James Gate, which is like the Guinness, would you call it a brewery? I want to say like Guinness factory, but Guinness brewery, I suppose. It's like the only place where they make Guinness, and it's so cool. If you are ever in Ireland, obviously go, because it's like really, really, really well done. Like everything was beautiful, and everything was so running smoothly. The coolest thing I remember is they have a copy of the lease that Arthur Guinness signed to own the land, and it's a 1,000-year lease. Kind of fun. And then the lease is it's like in a glass box in the floor, so you can see it. I thought that was fun. I love a little document. Don't you just love a little historic document? And it was like, I just remember it being so cool. Especially they had like a whole section that was like vintage Guinness ads. Like, you know, the my goodness, my Guinness. And they also had a tasting room where they like teach you how to properly taste Guinness. I didn't know how much science went into it, but they give you like a little taster of Guinness. I'm not even like the biggest Guinness fan. Like I'll drink it, but it's almost never what I'm ordering at the pub. I have a little taster and they're like, now take a sip and move it slowly from the back of your tongue to the front and notice how your palate absorbs the hint of bitter pee-pee with just a touch of poo-poo. And I was like, I'm not cut out for this shit. I'm not cut out for tasting anything. I'm not good at a tasting because let me tell you something. It's either yummy or it's poopy in my mind. And they're like, detect these notes. These notes? Do you know what I like? I go to Starbucks and I get like a creme brulee gingerbread oat milk chai. Like I am here to drink processed sugar in any form that I can. I drink peach Crystal Light every single day of my life. I'm not here to tell you the notes, the subtle notes, the bouquet. I've never been here to do that. That's just not me. But I did it for the bit and for the vibe. And I think I have like a little piece of paper that says I'm a certified Guinness tester. So fuck you. And of course, St. James Gate has the little thing where you can pay to have a Guinness with your face printed on it. And that's just fun. That's just jolly good fun. I'm not sure how they do it. I'm assuming they like burn sugar and put it on top. Either way, I'm so on board with that. I think every drink should have a little printed treat for amusement. And I'll die on that hill. That's gonna be my message when I run for president. So I really enjoyed the Guinness factory. Then the next day, did anything else exciting happen in Dublin? I wanted to say that I made out with a guy in Dublin, but I don't think I did. I definitely made out with a guy in Budapest who was from Dublin. Different story. This I don't think I kissed any Irishmen. How upsetting. Then we took a scenic train all the way across the country from Dublin to Galway, and that was awesome. It's so pretty. I mean, the Irish countryside, hella sheep. Who doesn't love a sheep? I was loving it. And yeah, we get to Galway. Galway's the quaintest little town, city. So adorable. I felt like I was in a fairy tale. And I just kept saying to myself, she played the fiddle in an Irish band, but she fell in love with an Englishman. And that is from Sir Edward Sheeran of the Duke of Cockington. I gotta drink a coffee or something. I feel like I'm out of it this morning. But look at this dog. Look at this little dog. He's so cute. So I went to Galway. What did I do in Galway? There was a farmer's market. It was so cute. I'm in this cute little scenic village town, fairy tale land, and there's a farmer's market, and they were giving away samples, and I had the best strawberry I've ever tasted. It was so juicy plump. I felt alive for the first time. And then, of course, we decided to take a bus to the Cliffs of Moher. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I always say like Cliffs of Moher, but then like it's spelled Moher, and then I hear the Irish, they're like Moher, Cliffs of Moher. So I'm gonna say Cliffs of Moher so that I don't embarrass myself. But we took a bus, especially because my roommate Emily really wanted to go because her favorite movie of all time is The Princess Bride, and they filmed that like iconic cliff scene at the Cliffs of Moher where like the what's his name, Dread Pirate Roberts is climbing. Inconceivable. That scene is filmed there. Yeah, so we went and it was so cool. I mean, I don't know how long you could stay at the Cliffs of Moher. It's just a cliff. It's just a drop off into the Atlantic Ocean, and it's kind of scary. But I enjoyed it. I sure did. And the funny thing about that was we realized that we had taken the last bus to get there, and there were no buses going back to Galway. Not that we needed to stay in Galway, because I had booked an Airbnb in the town of Gort. Anybody ever heard of the town of Gort? No? Shocker. It's this little town in the middle of bumblefuck nowhere, Ireland, and I booked an Airbnb there because the ad had sheep in it, and I'm a sucker for a hooved beast. So I thought it'd be fun to like. I saw that there was a town nearby, and it was like a 15-minute walk to this Airbnb. I thought it would be a fun little like countryside getaway, but there are no buses running. And then I learned the hard way right then and there that there are also no rideshare apps in rural Ireland, which I'm not sure why I thought there would be, but we realized that there was no way for us to get from the Cliffs of Moher to our Airbnb. So we go to the dude working the cliffs, the cliff man. And I'm like, hey, brother, this is the scenario that we're in. We got to get to the town of Gort. And he was like, oh, well, nothing's running, but let me call you a cab. Okay, slaw. So he calls what I don't believe was a cab company. I think he just called a friend of his who owned a car, because this like fucking Ford Focus pulls up and he's like, hey, guys, he has an Irish accent. Hello there, I am your driver. So we get in. This guy's name is Philip O'Donnell. You ever heard a more Irish name than Philip O'Donnell? That's kooky crazy. And this man drove like a bat out of hell. He drove so fast, winding through these Irish country roads on the side of fucking cliffs, dodging sheep left and right. And I get very car sick. So I'm in the front already, and I'm like spiritually transcending into a different dimension to avoid spewing in this Ford Focus. And fine, like we couldn't go back to Galway or to Gort because our flight was the next morning at like 5 a.m. and the buses didn't start running again until 7. So it was going to be like a whole another problem where it was like, we're going to have to call a cab in the middle of the night and it's going to be a whole fucking thing. So we're like, oh my God, what do we do? And we're like, let's just go to the airport and we'll just sleep there so that we can get our 5 a.m. flight. Like, let's just like, cause at this point it was probably like 8 p.m. We were like, let's just go sleep in the airport and be able to catch our flight. So fucking Philip O'Donnell skirts us to the Shannon airport outside of Galway. And the minute this man halts outside of the airport, I open the door and I immediately just dragon roar vom because I was holding it in the whole car ride. I shamrock shaked all over the fucking Emerald Isle. It was so rough, but it had to happen. I was holding it in for probably like an hour, and this guy was going like 90 kilometers. I don't know how distance works over there. But so we get out, we're in the Shannon airport. It's 8 p.m. And I was like, oh, you know what? There's worse things than spending the night in an airport, because an airport has bathrooms and vending machines and chairs. Like, we'll be fine. So did you guys know that the Shannon airport actually closes? Oh, right. The Shannon airport closes. So we get there, the 3 people that are working, we go and we're like, hey, like, this is our situation. And they're like, yeah, so the airport closes, but we have like this, I guess, like a breezeway, like a lobby to the airport that stays open like all night. So he's like, if you guys want to hang out there, like, you're more than welcome. All the shops and restaurants and everything are closed, obviously, but there's like a vending machine and we have access to a bathroom. What freaked me out was that the doors they don't lock. So like anyone from the Irish countryside could just come into this lobby of the Shannon airport and have their way with us. And I was freaked out. I was scared we were going to get robbed. And we decided to sleep in shifts. There were 3 of us. It was me, my friend Emily, my friend Jess. So we're like, let's sleep in shifts so that we don't get robbed at the fucking Shannon airport. So that's what we did. It was like the roughest night ever. I remember waking up at one point and seeing Jess like sitting straight up, eyes open. I'm like, Jess, are you awake? And she's like, I'm keeping watch. And I was like, okay. It felt like we were like in the freaking Walking Dead. I don't know. But then, and this was the scariest part. So at like 10 p.m., we're like, oh, well, it's a sleepover in the airport, whatever. The lights go out. It's pitch black. We're in an airport in the pitch black, nothing protecting us from the outside. It was so scary, but we survived. The lights come back on and we're like, huzzah. And then we go through TSA whenever we get to the airport, and none of the shops are open. We just want like a fucking croissant at this point. I just needed like a pastry to get me through the day. Nothing's open. Okay, great. So we ended up pretty stressed after that trip. But other than that hiccup, I really enjoyed my time in Ireland. I'd really like to go back. I was planning a trip this spring and it just didn't happen. But I really want to see Donegal. I really want to see Derry. London Derry. No London though, just Derry. And I'd like to see Limerick. And I'd really like to go down to Dingle. I'd actually love to just tour the whole fucking country while I'm at it. It's beautiful. The Emerald Isle and no snakes. How nice is that? One less thing to worry about, if you ask me. But I just love the Irish. I do. I love Irish food more than anything in this world. Love me some corned beef and cabbage. I love a shepherd's pie. Love a shepherd's pie. I love fucking coddle. You ever heard of coddle? Delicious. I love the Irish are always eating like a hearty stew. And that's delectable. It's a wintertime food. And it's so yummy. And I love Irish soda bread with a little butter and some jam. God fucking damn it. Love it. I love Irish music. Love Irish music. First of all, Hosier. I want to jump his bones. But also, there's this great band called Gaelic Storm. And my family fucking loves Gaelic Storm. We listen to Gaelic Storm all the time, especially when we're in the pub. Hanging out in the pub. I love Irish names. Love. Like Saoirse Ronan. Some of them are like, I'm like, okay, this is a prank. But then there are the classic ones that everyone knows, like Siobhan. Everyone knows Siobhan and Sinead. And I love like that funky spelling. I think it's so fun. It does suck, like, you're never going to find your name on a keychain in a gift shop. But a girl can dream. What else do I love about Ireland? Dairy Girls. I fucking love Dairy Girls. It's my favorite show in the world. It is so good. Nothing matches it. I especially love the Dairy Girls Great British Bake Off crossover episode. Really recommend you get into that because I've seen that more times than I can count and it brings me a lot of joy. But so yeah, I love St. Paddy's Day. I love it. It's interesting because I'm not really the type, I've talked about this before, but I'm not really the type to like drink in a large crowd. That tends to stress me out. And St. Paddy's Day tends to be a lot of that. But now that I'm out of college, it's nice to just find a pub and have a Guinness. The least you can do on St. Paddy's Day is have a Guinness. And I intend on keeping that promise to the Emerald Isle. So had a Guinness this weekend, and we will also be having a Guinness tonight. We're going to a little Irish pub tonight. It's probably gonna be packed, but I just want to hear a little bit of Irish music, have a Guinness, and then I'm good. And yeah, I'm glad I'm not in college St. Paddy's Day anymore. It was a little too much for me. I am really, every day I miss kindergarten St. Paddy's Day, which is when the leprechaun would come to your classroom. His fucking footprints would be all around and he'd leave you chocolate coins. Ha! That's I'm trying to chase that high every day of my life. Every day. But for now, a Guinness will have to do. So I encourage you all, even though this is coming out the day after St. Paddy's Day, I encourage you to go out and have a Guinness. Split the G for me, would ya? For Carson. Come here, Carson. Say bye. Can you say bye? Look at this baby. He's just a little boy. All right. See you next week.